As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Woo! How's it going, everybody? It is the 113th episode of the Comic Shop Talk tonight, and we have a huge guest tonight, a huge one. So glad you could be here early and right away. This is what I like to see. I like this. I saw you all chatting. I'm like, these people are interacting like crazy. We're just kind of existing and breathing, waiting for the show to start. You all are active. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's acknowledge some quick faces here. I saw our guy 5 picoseconds say, won't be here, dude. Just catch the replay, man. I know you're usually great about that. So thanks for dropping a comment, and we'll talk soon as always. And we got already Pole Baby 74 has become a member, and that is quite cool. Where is he here? Where's my clip? Oh, here he goes.
Huge.
Yeah, thank you for becoming a member, Pole Baby 74. How are you, sir? Vulcan Lives. What's up, Vulcan Lives? The Gilded King, Vince Womack, Tuna Giant, Pinochet's Helicopter 2. Where's hello? Larry. Hey, Larry. Thank you guys being here early and right away. Let's bring in some of our dudes. We'll start off first with the Common Nerd. How's it going, Common?
Good, Bubba. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm ready to party. I'm ready to talk comic books and just enjoy a Friday night. I mean, what better way to be hanging with the dudes talking comics? I mean, it's like only the best thing ever, like in the world.
100%, especially after being like busy. Like I just been like knocking stuff at like 4 videos a day, 3 shorts, and it's just like, oh gosh, it's nice to just relax and come out here in the evening and just go, hey, I got some really cool comic stuff to talk about. And I got something to show off. And I'm like, yee. So yeah, I'm excited.
Good. Happy to have you here, sir. And I'm ready to have a good Friday night. Let's bring in, of course, the man who made our thumbnail the way it is, and also a guy who's very essential to the show and the vision it goes towards, Mr. Iron Caster. What's up, dude?
Oh, you Nick, you challenged me. I can't believe it, dude. You forced me to read comic books. How dare you, sir?
Oh,
I had to read Cyberfrog 2 yesterday.
Oh,
Oh,
You're lucky,
no.
sir. You're lucky. It's a good book. It's a great book.
Oh, you hear
I
that?
can say some of the best books ever.
Yo, your book's good, yo. Your book's very, very good, yo. Well, hey, Caster, glad to have you here, sir. And I'm glad you got your Cyberfrog reread. I got my Salamandroid Death Sting reread in. Feels good, and I'm ready to talk some content. Before we bring in our guests, quick acknowledgments to Zombie Box Reviews, Diesel, Jason Fox, Chernobyl, RSQ001, and the great D-Bud Martin and David Glenn. Thanks for being here, guys. All right, let's bring in our guests. Some of you guys, well, you may know of his name. He is the letterer of Cyberfrog and Ethan Van Sciver's whole universe around that. Obviously, ISOM as well. He's done, I think, also some stuff for your boy Zach as well. But he also has his own creator-owned project as well, Battle Brick Road, which here tonight we'll talk about Battle Brick Road 2. And maybe we'll even get some additional insights on lettering, because I feel like that is a very overlooked element in comics. So I can't wait to pick this gentleman's brain apart. So, guys, everyone in the chat, including Ceci, let's give a huge, warm welcome to Mr. Eric Weathers. How you doing?
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show.
My pleasure, man. Glad you could take the time to join us. I know, obviously, you got a very loaded schedule. You're. I just see you like hopping around the stream. I'm like, I love this guy is on the grind right now.
Yeah, it's in promo mode. You got to hop on all the streams you can get the word out for the book and let everybody know what's going on.
No, dude. Hey, happy you could join us. I'm happy we could pick your brain apart, and maybe we can also, put some eyes in front of your book that people may not be aware of. And I definitely have some questions myself about this book, so it's gonna be fun to see what we can and can't. Obviously, I know we won't obviously go into spoilers, but I definitely have some question about some of the great marketing material you did, because it's very exceptional, might I add.
Thank you.
And D-Bud, this is a Danzig shirt. All right. See, there you go. There's the Danzig logo. All right.
I didn't want to say anything.
I can see. I understand why it looks that way, but no,
Mhm.
Danzig shirt because I saw Mr. Glenn on Sunday and it was fantastic. So, anyways, all right. So, Eric, I want to pick your brain apart. Well, we got you. I know we got like hour and 40 with you. So, what got you into the comic business? Like, what was your like? This is what I want to do. And what was the way that got you into the lettering aspect of it all?
Great question. I started. I mean, I don't remember when I didn't have comic books or comic book related stuff in the house. So I kind of grew up with them just around. I had some, Spider-Man stuff from the late '80s, and then you know, third, fourth, fifth grade, the X-Men animated series comes out, and that got me hooked on X-Men. And then Jim Lee's drawn at that time. You're playing X-Men on the Genesis. One of my favorite games was Spider-Man versus the Kingpin, another great Genesis game. I was just sort of hooked from that '90s era Marvel stuff, late '80s, early '90s Marvel stuff. And I was 9 or 10, and I was like, I kind of realized that people do this. They draw this stuff for a living. Like somebody drew that. It doesn't just exist out of nowhere. So
Yeah, someone actually put heart and love and time and to some extent blood, sweat, and tears into it. Yeah.
Yeah. In some cases, literally, if you put your blood in the ink for some weird printing. But that was when I realized it, and I thought, I want to do that. That seems really cool. So, you start drawing, and I was always the artist at school, like, hey, can you draw my project for me? No, I got to draw my own project. But it was around sophomore, junior year of high school, and I was like starting to take it seriously, where I was like, oh, wait, I can make comic books. So I started doing my own stuff with characters I made up with me and friends and things like that. And then it was probably 5-10 years later when I started making actual comic books for as a business, as like, I want to start doing this. I did a comic book series called Flying Fortress, and it was a World War II this B-17 crew. They go on a secret mission to bomb Hitler. They get shot down. They crash land in the Middle Ages, and they find the Nazis are already there. And there's a whole story we did with that. It was a whole lot of fun. It was eight books we did over like 5 or 6 years. Put that all together, and then after that wrapped up, I kind of got burned out on drawing comics because I'd spent so much time doing it. But I had this opportunity to letter a book. I had lettered all the Flying Fortress stuff, and I had found out that even though I was drawing it, I was doing all the artwork, drawing it, lettering it, coloring it. When it came to the lettering, I didn't like coloring, so when it came to lettering, it was like this relief. Wow, the coloring's done. Now I can letter the book. And it's sort of, I don't know if that was like a conditioning or something, where it was something like, I actually really like doing this. So after that was done, I had this opportunity to letter a book, like my first paid gig. I jumped at the chance, put in my portfolio, got hired. And
was that through a indie, someone local? I mean,
it was a local indie book. Yeah,
Okay.
a local indie book called Frankennaut.
Okay.
And through happenstance, the writer of that book, I didn't talk with him. I was talking with the artist, but the writer of that book is now the writer and co-creator of Battle Brick Road. So it was weird how that happened. Like, I lettered the book, hadn't met the guy yet, didn't know his name, didn't know him from Adam. And then we met afterwards, like months afterwards, like, wait a second, your name's familiar. It's like, wait, no, you lettered my book. Yeah. So then having that one gig kind of gave me that light bulb, like, wait a second, I can letter comic books for a living. So I found out about CG through some friends on Facebook who were angry that, Richard C. Meyer existed.
Yeah. that was a wild period of time.
Yeah,
man.
It was crazy back then. So I went through, found his YouTube channel and found out all about Comicsgate and all of that. And, through all of that, John Malin was looking for a colorist, a letterer. And he said they wanted a 90s Spawn style. And I didn't have much to go on, but I pulled an image off of the Indiegogo campaign and lettered it, while I was copying the 90s Spawn style from Tom Warzakowski. And that was all she wrote. I mean, that was the catalyst for the whole lettering thing that I've been doing for the past 6 years.
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Absolutely killer. Wow.
Yeah.
So with Battle Brick Road, obviously you mentioned your co-creator in the book. Was Battle Brick Road a response to your displeasure with what was going on, or was this something you always had, like, I want to do this someday, and then the CG movement happened, and then you like release it? Which one was it that came first?
It was a little bit of both. It's not a story I've been sitting on for a long time. Like I said, I would finished the Flying Fortress book, and I wanted to pursue other art endeavors. So I started learning, digital painting and concept art. And in the process of putting together portfolio ideas, I came up with this pitch. That a lot of concept art prompts will be like, take two things and put them together. Take two things that don't go together and put them together and come up with an idea. Like space and cowboys, and see how that can work. And I was mulling around these ideas, and I don't know why the Wizard of Oz was half of the idea, but it was. And the other half, the Division had just come out. Like, they did the trailer on E3, and I was really excited about it. I think the Division 2 was actually coming out very soon after that. So I had been playing the game for a little while, and I thought, this is really neat. What if I took this idea of like a shooter and put that in the world of Wizard of Oz? Because I grew up playing the Battlefield games where there were role class systems. You have a rifleman, an engineer, an anti-tank, a sniper, and all those roles kind of fit with the characters of Wizard of Oz in a sense. Like, okay, this person, I don't know, guys, he's a scarecrow, that's a ghillie suit, that's a sniper. Dorothy could be a regular rifleman, and the heavy weapons guy is a big guy, he'd be the lion. Okay, and then, all right, the Tin Man engineer, so he'll be explosives guy. And it sort of clicked that way. And I was mulling over this idea, and then I decided this needs to be a comic book. Like, and as I'm writing that idea, that's when I find out about CG. So it was like, okay, there's an opportunity here to maybe go with another comic book and go down that road again. And I've been doing that since 2018. We've been working on it. And our initial ideas, and then we launched. We did a campaign, like a remaster for Flying Fortress, so that brought that let people know who I am, because lettering was, I was really the only name in town back then, but still, it was only a handful of books. But build the audience that on a book that was already done, and then move that momentum into the next thing, which was the first Battle Brick Road. So,
nice.
Yeah,
man, that's awesome, dude. Seriously, it's such a cool story. So okay, so let's get into your website, guys. So for those in the chat, this is battlebrickroad.com. We're showing the page because I like that you went with your own website. And I don't know if those was or was not always a plan for you to do a website, but it seems like definitely when Eric July got the own website going, it seemed like it kind of tore the floodgates open for you. Obviously, Irene Strikalski, Shane Davis with Inglorious Rex 2. It seems like a lot more people are like, you know what? Hey, we could just put this on here or Fund My Comic. Either our own website, Fund My Comic. And that seems to be working because, unfortunately, there's been some shadow banning going on with Indiegogo, which once upon a time that was a thing. But I remember how much of a bad thing shadow banning could be. Because if you remember, on Inglorious Rex 1, Shane Davis hit like 300 plus K. And then 2, it was like 220K, which is still not a bad number. Most would kill to have a number like that.
Fantastic. Yeah.
But it's amazing the difference that makes when it's shadow banned. And I'm like, I wonder how much of a difference that had to have played that people don't know, because you can't even have it come up in searches, and not everyone know. A lot of people sometimes forget not everyone ever catches the streams or the YouTube stuff.
Right.
Some people just go to Indiegogo, and that's a very important thing. So it's amazing how powerful that shadow banning is. So it's nice to see you guys responding. You know what? It's going to take that a little extra work now, having less of a third party involved with the Indiegogos, but I'm assuming obviously you get more of the money, but man, it seems like the creativity is still there because obviously you still got the books for the same prices. What stuck out for me here, because I'm newer to this, admittedly, I
Okay.
saw, and I'm a big music guy. I'm obviously I'm a metalhead Danzig shirt. What stuck out for me when I backed this many weeks back was this vinyl here. I love, especially us music fans, we love our vinyl. And I saw you had this golden vinyl. Dude, this stands out. This
I was
is
asked about
so cool to see that you had this 2-track 7-inch vinyl. I love how I was like, oh, 7. That's like reminds me when I used to go to my punk and hardcore shows at the DIY venue. So you really bring that energy back to life with having music being a soundtrack. I think comics and music have quite a bit in common. Like I remember when Anthrax covered, well, not covered, but they made a song on Judge Dredd called "I Am the Law." There's so much connection between music and comics, and so, dude, where did this come from? The fact that you did a vinyl, because this is amazing to see. Of course, I backed it. By the way, there's no way I was not going to.
Thank you. Yeah. So it was a few things. One, it's like, well, what can we do new the second time that we didn't do the first time? And there were a few people that I had a certain artist do tracks for him. So like Vaughn had this guy do music for Monster MD. He had music for A Terror in the Trenches. I think Phil Diaz too with Magic Cop and The Lost Pages. He had these themes that this synthwave composer did, and I thought that would be really cool. I want to do that. And then it was easy for me to go from I want to do that to, and it has to be put on a vinyl record. So because I like to collect vinyl records myself.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah.
Well,
So it was like, well, I
yeah.
want a record of my own soundtrack of my comic book. I'm going to have to do that. And why not make it a business expense and let other people enjoy it too? So yeah, we commissioned the same artist named Vosto, and he did these really neat sort of dark synth versions of these theme songs for two characters, for Scarecrow and Tin Man. And those are our, initial tracks for what hopefully could be, a full length soundtrack for Battle of Road down the line.
Wow, dude. Wow. That seriously, like, that's so cool. Just even right at the bat, you got the two tracks. Obviously not final artwork, but I can't wait to see it because that's one of the cool things as being a vinyl guy. Because even though I initially grew up on the CD world, what stuck out to me with vinyl when I was starting to get into vinyl, I love having the zoomed, the bigger picture of the artwork because you could pick apart the little details more. It's kind of like you almost own like a drawing or a painting. So you get to really, dissect it all, maybe read the liner notes. So I love that aspect with the vinyl is really being attached that much more to the music and having the whole like vinyl just kind of encompass your room. I love it.
Yeah, there's a certain connection that it gives you to the music that you don't get any other way.
Go ahead, it becomes more of a discussion piece to be able to have this big old like head size piece of art that you can kind of show off to people, opposed to just this little CD cover.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
It looks a little Kenneth Rocafort-y, this piece.
I
know it's
Kenneth
not the final
Rocafort.
piece. Oh, there you go. The guy's got such a distinct style. Like, seriously, he's almost unmistakable. And that's such a cool thing.
We lucked out because he did a variant cover for the first campaign. That was what the cover was Tin Man and Scarecrow. So I thought, well, we've got their themes, so it makes sense. So,
Okay, so why don't you explain this perk to our wonderful chat? Because, guys, this is a very unique perk as well. Besides his vinyl, this is where you pay a little extra to get a very special, correct me if I'm wrong, one-of-a-kind cover?
Yes. So we have the technology for our printer, I should say, has the technology to every cover that rolls off the printing press is unique. So if I print 100 copies or 1 million copies, every single one of them will be unique from all the rest. So what it will be is the placement of the characters, their rotation. There's a little bit of the size. I don't want to make them too big or too small. And the same thing with the bricks, their placement, density, size, rotation, things like that will be different on every copy of the book that's printed. So if you get 1 copy, that'll be 1 for 1. If you get 10 copies, they'll each be 1 for 1. And alongside that, you're also going to get a matching print of that cover.
Dude,
So
wow.
it's going to be a lot of fun. First time in comic book history that anything like this has ever been done.
Wow. Sorry, just don't get me wrong. Like, I was always blown away by the special edition cover, but the fact that you do with the print, wow, that is damn cool. See, that is amazing that you could do things like that no one else is doing, or things are either not often is done either. It really makes your campaign that much more attractive. It really does. And I think that's why you're able to do it on your own website and succeed. And now you're going to be going into the extra 30 days. Dude, absolutely awesome with the special edition cover. So
Thanks.
what's the end goal here with how long are you looking for this story to go, or is that too soon, or do you have an outline of what you want to do? What's the mission plan with it? Do you want to spin off into side stories for the characters? What are you looking for out of your Battle Brick Road story, like long term, if that's not too soon to ask?
No, not too soon at all. We've been sort of talking about this since even before we launched it. Was the main story, the meat of the story is 4 books. Each one is 2 chapters. So Battle Brick Road 1, the Wizard of Oz retelling with badassery and guns, is 2 chapters, and you follow Dorothy, or we call her Thea, and as she's trying to find her dad, and then she eventually stumbles upon Oz and finds Scarecrow. Her story that we're telling, 2 chapters in book 1, and now we're on book 2. So chapters 3 and 4, we're continuing that story. And then through the sort of the overarching story, it will be 4 books total of 8 chapters to sort of round out what would be our version of what you might expect from the movie. Although it's not like this happened in the movie, so this is how we do it, and this happened in the movie, so that's how we do it. We're not following, we are telling our own story, but that sort of wonderful Wizard of Oz, hitting those beats that you're familiar with, but telling it in our own way, is an 8-chapter, 4-book story arc. And we're toying with some ideas on how we want to sprinkle in side stories that maybe tie into the main story. I know Irene is doing like a Fiendish 2.5, so it's like
I saw
a little
it,
middle story between the big
ones,
ones, right? And
that's cool.
Michael Bancroft is doing that also. He's going to have the Lucent. He's doing Painted Death now, but then he's got his Rod Looper drawing his little side story that will come after Painted Death, but then that'll be like in between the 3rd book. And I really like that idea of sort of maybe keeping that momentum story-wise, because those bigger books take longer, and I can hire out an artist for the books in between, and sort of keep the engine going, keep telling the story within the world and fleshing out characters and such. So hopefully we can look at making a Scarecrow side story, like 22, like floppy comics, regular comic kind of thing. And then big picture, when it's all said and done, we'll want to collect everything, obviously, in like a big omnibus. That's the pie in the sky. Who knows if we'll actually get there, but that would be the dream.
Oh man, absolutely killer, awesome. So as of now, you have 424 backers, 25K. Congratulations, by the way, on your own new website. And I know there's a little bit of a gap between when the initial first book started now, so that's cool that people are coming around and stick around for this. Gift card, guys. So if you have a friend and maybe they're a little tight on money, this is a good way to help them out. So if they have some money, you can do a gift card too that helps them afford it a little bit more. Because obviously, I know some people that are a little tight on funds. This is once again another creative feature that you're doing. This one I don't really commonly see, as well as the gift card idea. This is a gift that gives, really, and I like that you're doing it, because comics for me, I've always been to, especially like when it was a lot more niche, and I feel like it's kind of becoming that way again, which I don't mind. We loved when we could share that hobby and just say, hey dude, check this out. Oh hey dude, you need help with that the extra comic you want in the shop? Here, here's a few extra bucks, go and get it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a cool thing to see that happening. It reminds me of the camaraderie when comics was so much more niche, that people just say, no, I want to make sure you have a shot at reading this, because that's ultimately, we just want to know that we can all have these conversations about these stories that we get invested in. It's the dream when we can have that, because comics is such a fun, incredible medium to discuss. And I'm sure, like you and guys like us, we enjoy those days where we're at the shop bickering with our friends, the age-old conversation, Hulk versus Thor, stuff like that. It's comics, it's one of those things you have to be around to understand how giving this media, and you have to be in the niche to really understand this medium. What made it be that, I'm gonna go for a gift card, because that's once again another incredible idea too.
Well, really, when we're looking at the options we had for our own website, we're using a Shopify platform, which is sort of ubiquitous across the internet. Any sort of small mom and pop coffee shop, and they got an online store, you're probably using they're probably using a Shopify website. So you dig into the nuts and bolts of what you can do, and gift cards are one of their sort of built-in options. And I thought, well, that's kind of neat. Like, one, it gives us an option that we don't have. I can't give you an Indiegogo gift card. I can't give you a Kickstarter gift card or anything like that. So I can't do anything with that. But having that opportunity here, somebody, like you said, buy it for a friend, or maybe if I'm doing a live stream on my channel or whatever, and we could have a raffle and give away a $10 or $25 or $50 gift card to some random backer for a drawing or something like that. But just being able to have more options for people, and the people that helped fund the first book, Indiegogo has a referral thing. You send your link, and people click on your link and back it. They get like a little tally mark saying, you've helped this campaign sell so many books. And if anybody from my analytics within Indiegogo had sold 10 or more referral orders from the first campaign, I went ahead and I sent them a gift card in their email, so they were able to use that just off the jump for Battlebrick Road 2. So it's just one of those things that, again, the option was there, so why not give it a shot? If it doesn't work, it didn't cost me anything other than the time to make the graphic. So more options, I think, are good.
I think we lost Nick.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I'm here. I wrote a comment in private chat. You must have not saw it, but luckily I came back right on time for it.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, right, for real. So, okay, Grant, I know things change, especially in a world that is way too unpredictable. And I know with the backing, what are we looking at for the estimate of the release? Should all things go well in a world where things go as less wrong as possible? What's the goal with getting Battlebrick Road 2? Because once again, hiccups come up, and there are many good reasons and I'm sure reasons that I'll probably never even know. It's part of the industry.
Right. Like, as far as when we are expecting fulfillment to begin?
Hoping to fulfill the book.
Okay. Yeah. So our plan, again, all things going smoothly, would be end of quarter one or early quarter two of next year. So in the spring of next year, which is a much faster turnaround than what we had with the first book. And then hopefully continue that momentum into book 3 and 4. And we're just like done with 4 and it's ready to go out the door when the campaign goes. I would love to be able to get in that situation, but things happen. So I can't, I'm not a genie. I can't predict the future, but
yeah.
And I learned a lot on the first campaign in terms of what could go wrong, because Murphy's Law is alive and well in the crowdfunding independent comic scene. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, we've all had our books that have gone longer. I don't personally mind as much as long as I know there's transparency and like, hey, just this is going on. Like, okay, you're letting me know what's going on. I totally can roll with almost anything, really. The only thing that probably for me would be like, whoa, what the hell would be if the guy like, just no response really. But so no, that is awesome that you have this going. Obviously, you know, things could change. Awesome, absolutely freaking awesome. So okay, while we'll continue showing these photos off, I want to talk a little bit about lettering because this is a very big thing that, as I said at the beginning of the show, this is a very overlooked part of working on the job of comics. And I would like to know, like, you know, maybe you could talk about your favorite things, challenges with lettering, favorite parts. Whatever you want. I want people, especially we even got a few normies in the chat who are just here to learn about comics. I want to really help them understand the process of lettering and what it's like.
What's my favorite part about lettering? Really, I work with almost exclusively, unless they're a repeat customer or an industry veteran, I work almost exclusively with first-time creators. And my favorite thing to do, and I've said this 100 times, but it's true, is I get to be the person that lets the creator see their comic book as a comic book for the first time. And that's cool because I remember, you know, I'm a creator too. I've been making comic books for almost 15 years. And there's always something special about when you're seeing it lettered and seeing it as a comic book and you can read it. There's caption boxes and word balloons and sound effects. And it's like, wow, this is real now. Because through the whole process, the script, the thumbnails, the layouts, the roughs, the inks, pencils, colors, you're excited to get to the next one and you're excited when you reach a milestone. It's not a comic book yet until you're like looking at lettering. The only thing that trumps it is seeing it in your hand in print.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
But that's my favorite part.
And everything. Okay, all right.
Is letting people see that for the first time.
All right. How about what about the like the most hectic, stressful part? Is it the deadline part of it? Is it fitting bubbles in where it's like, you know, you want the art to shine? Like what's the challenging part to it? Like, or is it something else I haven't thought of? Like what is the most challenging aspect of how you work in the lettering aspect?
It can vary depending on the book. Deadlines aren't usually a big deal. I mean, if I, you know, pull a couple extra hours to get a book done for somebody because they needed it done faster, that's not a big deal. But I'd say really the frustrating part is what you said. Second is like trying to fit the word balloons in where there's no room. That can be frustrating. And there's a lot of stuff a lot of tricks up my sleeve that I can do to make it work. The way the balloons are placed in terms of stacking them in a certain order or moving dialogue from a whole balloon or half a balloon and putting it in a different panel. You know, very rarely, occasionally saying, "Hey, you might want to just rewrite this. Can we take this blob of text and cut it down to just like a sentence?" You know, because then there's going to be a whole lot more room. Because, you know, as an artist, I hate to cover up the artwork because I know what it takes to put it on the page in the first place. There have been some times where it's unfortunately like I'm just like, you know, having a heart attack, like, God, covering up this beautiful, but there's nowhere else for this balloon to go. So, yeah, that gets kind of frustrating. You know, it's like,
it sounds like
want it to. What's
Go
that,
ahead, Caster?
I'll say it sounds like there's times where it might be a case of your favorite piece of your favorite little part of a particular drawing might have to unfortunately wind up being the thing that gets covered up with the word balloon. Like, oh, I really like the way I did this, you know, this
exactly
sword or whatever.
Yeah. So and again, I 99% of the time I don't have trouble with it, but there are those rare occasions where it's like, oh man, it has to go here because there's no other spot. Specifically, there was in Cash Grab, there's a scene where there's like a phone conversation happening, and the panels are drawn in such a way there's this big empty space.
Caster, you should know this.
Was the Ink Spots was the colorist, and he painted all of these beautiful I think it was like skulls and stuff in the background, and I had to completely cover them up. And man, he put in all his work, and it's just more balloons, just cover it up. But there was, I mean, it had to go there. There was no other option. So that's the one that stands out, and that I remember it being like, man, some good artwork getting covered up here.
Wow, and that's gotta be a show, man. You really you know how to do what sounds like you know how to do almost everything. That's gotta have its advantages. Like, so you must see everything when you're doing comic from all lenses. That your OCD must get really, really real because you see it from the writing aspect, the coloring, the inking, the penciling, and the lettering aspect. That's gotta be some real OCD because you're seeing it from every single aspect possible. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Because some guys are just a writer, some guys are just a penciler. Like, holy, like, do you feel like it takes you that much like time, and does it like drive you crazy that much more because you see it from every angle possible? Do you feel like that differentiates you from the other guys like that?
It probably gives me an advantage over other letterers who,
Okay.
are quote unquote just letterers. But I, on the plus side, when I'm working on a book, drawn by Ethan or Shane, it's like I get high res, full res, print ready files to just pour over and look at all the little details and things that you might miss because you're seeing it, shrunk down and printed, and that's a perk to the job that I really enjoy. In fact, speaking of Cyberfrog, he hired me to do the relettering of Blood Honey a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that stood out, and again, it's that eye of I'm also I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm really good at lettering,
go for it, man.
Right? I'm solid. I'm good at my job. I know what makes it work, and I strive to make that as good as possible. But I'm also an artist, so I'm able to like know what the artist is thinking when they're drawing for the most part. Like I'm in that mind space as well. So here I am relettering Cyberfrog Blood Honey, and looking at the first printing that was done by another letterer, and he's got these balloons covering up all these little Easter eggs and stuff. I was like for instance, when Cyberfrog meets Heather and they're in her apartment and they're eating fried chicken, and I think it's when Salamandroid shows up. There was a picture of Elvis on the wall. I don't know, Ethan's a huge Elvis Presley fan, so he drew that in as an Easter egg. Is like, hey, she's gonna have an Elvis because I like Elvis. So I was able to bring that back from the first printing to the second printing. Things like that. Like, he may not have thought of, the other letterer may not have thought of that, or just wasn't thinking about placement or anything, but it was one of those things like, well, obviously this needs to be in here. That goes back to what we're saying about placement. Sometimes there's a blessing there in that I'm able to see things through the eyes of an artist. So that's part of where that tug of war happens too, where it's like, I can't, I have to, cover up this, or it's got to, the foot's just there where the foot is, and I have to put a balloon there. So I don't want to cover up the foot, but I have to. So,
man, dude,
it's funny.
So,
I actually remember Eric. I remember Ethan actually talking about that Elvis panel, that exact on the live stream that I was watching one time. Like him talking about the exact same thing. He's like, why he put it in there and that whole nine. I just thought that was funny as hell that you brought that up, because I remember them having that exact conversation about that.
That's cool. I don't even remember that stream, so maybe I did. Maybe I knew it back then, but I don't remember that. That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
You know what other vibes I got, and I don't know if you may have heard this. If you have, I apologize for being a broken record. I know you're talking about Wizard vibes. What I get when I see this, I get some Road Warrior energy from this. I get some Mel Gibson, Mad Max, the Road Warrior. I get some Mad Max vibe. Maybe it's because of the suits. Maybe the suits. It definitely has that like mayhemic post-apocalyptic vibe. Obviously reading it probably change the perspective on it. But from what you see on this cover, especially here on cover 8. I get the Mad Max vibe with, especially with our guy right here. I'm like, and this once again, everyone looks crazy and barbaric, and that's what I get out of that is the Mad Max vibe. Now, am I just saying that because being a Mad Max fan, or was there some Road Warrior into it?
Well, you're not the first person to actually point that out. It was heavier actually in the first campaign because there was more of that Road Warrior, or not even Road Warrior, but like Beyond Thunderdome, deserty wasteland is sort of half of the first chapter. So that was in there as sort of an aesthetic we were going for. Like I was watching Fury Road while I'm drawing, the desert chase scene. So, it kind of goes hand in glove there. So, yeah, you're not wrong. And you're not the first person to pick up on that either. So that was the first person I've heard say it in a while, but I'm glad you're picking up on it. That's really cool.
Thank you. All right. So our guy, Vince Womack here says, are there artists you work with that draw with the speech bubble placement already in mind? Ooh, that's a good question, Vince.
Yes. And they're my favorite artists to work with. Because the lettering becomes so much easier. Yeah, the lettering's so much easier. That's the thing. Again, the double-edged sword of working with first-time artists, first-time creators. I get to give them the comic book that they've always wanted, but they're amateur artists, so there's a thing where there's not room, and it's not just amateur artists. I mean, I've worked with legends, and even the legends will just not leave me any room anyways, so it is what it is. But yeah, there are a handful of artists that will actually like draw in word balloons when they're doing panel layouts. And in fact, Donald DeLay will sort of semi-letter the book. He'll put in actual word balloons while he draws, so he has a rough idea of where lettering could fit, and then when it's time to letter, I don't have to think about it. It just fits. Kelsey Shannon's another one that his work also. I can letter it. I don't have to think about where the balloons go because it's always there's always room for it.
All right, awesome.
So,
go ahead,
so just on the subject of the Wizard of Oz, with that being a big inspiration with this book. Now that the wider works of Frank Baum are public domain, have you put any thought into kind of reaching into some of the many other books of that to pull into this world of Battlebrick Road?
So there are, in short, yes, there are things in the wider, quote unquote official Wizard of Oz that would be neat to see how I could come up with a spin on it that would fit in the Battlebrick Road universe. For right now, a lot of that stuff would be peripheral, not mainline story, but building out the world. There are things that I want to see how I could tackle it within the parameters that we set in the world that we're building. So, yeah. I mean, why not? We're building our own version of the world. So the influence is always going to be there because it is a Wizard of Oz, retelling, but also it gives us the opportunity to create new characters and create new creatures and all of that too. So there's fun in that as well. So like one of the villains in chapter 2 is, our own sort of out of thin air sort of creation that's only in Battlebrick Road. Is not a Wizard of Oz character that we're carrying over. But being able to do things like even things from like the other movies, like Return to Oz, like people are always asking about wheelies. I get a wheelie question. It seems like every week. Yeah, I mean, why not? If we can make it work and not make it seem like it's out of place. I mean, it's a wild world anyways, the one that we're building, because it's, it's creatures, genetically modified creatures and talking, animals and weird hybrid androids and, this sort of magic mixed with science sort of world with a whole lot of brass fired downrange in either direction. So yeah, there's a lot we can do. And, it's a comic book, so why not go a little crazy?
That's the beauty of the comic books, is that with comics, there's no budget the way there is with the movies. You can literally use your imagination, and that's gonna have so many advantages that live action movies will in some ways never truly have. Even with the best CG in the world, there's stuff you could do with the comics. You see it happen in that book and you believe it, no matter how crazy it is, because it's just like comics is just once again the best medium for that. So maybe arguably maybe animation at best, but comics you could go all the way with it, truly.
Yeah, I think animation is probably the next in line where it's in a sense you have that unlimited budget, but you still have to animate it, and there's all that. So yeah, comics, whatever you can think of, you can make it happen.
All right, and welcome to the show, Pablo.
Howdy ho! Hey, my voice broke, and I was hearing some really interesting stuff. There's some shit that I have wanted to know about the world of Oz for a long time because, for example, the flying monkeys. Yeah, in the movie, it's like, yeah, it's kind of cutesy and just a bit horrifying. What kind of fucked up science they used to create them? Because those things are intelligent, but are crazy savage and also crazy obedient. So it's gotta be something really, really nasty that happened there, and that's the kind of stuff that is enjoyable. Is like some it happened with Alice in Wonderland, with the American McGee Alice games, that went in that direction of exploring the fucked up nature of the things that were on a cutesy children's story. And I love that angle. So what you were saying about the origin and the weird stuff that is going on this world, that is just the right kind of things that I enjoy. So yeah, I want to know more.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that's part of the things that we really struggled with trying to create this version of Oz that is different. We think about, what does it mean to have a flying monkey? Well, one, we do have flying monkeys, but it's expanded. We have a whole menagerie of flying simians. We have flying gorillas with leathered wings. We have flying chimps with feathered wings. Monkeys that are these sort of robotic android wings that are only just at first. We tease a lot of stuff up front, and then further into the story, further into understanding the world of Oz, sort of as Dorothy is learning more about it. We will learn more about it as a reader. You're going to understand, like, the Wicked Witch of the West. We call her the Watcher of the West. She was this malevolent, force that thought, one, humans need to be eradicated, and while I'm at it, why don't I just do this gene splicing stuff and just sort of play with science while I have it, because she's this AI and she can come up with sort of weird and whatever. So that's where the army of the legions of they're called quadlings in the Wizard of Oz book. We're keeping that name in our version. These just sort of hybrid human beasts, hybrid beast creations that she created, and that's her army. Those are her pawns for the war that was waged before Dorothy arrived, years and years prior to her arrival. So there's a whole backstory that we get to create off of seeing a movie that was made in 1939, where there's a bunch of small blue monkeys with funny hats. It's like, let's see how we can put the pedal to the metal on this and push it.
I love it
creatively.
Yeah, and there's a lot of background even in the movie. If you see, the Wizard of Oz was doing some crazy shit shenanigans with science in his laboratory. Yeah, he had the machine that projected his head and everything, but he was doing some, let's say, not so governmentally sanctioned things, and the witch gotta be way worse. So
yeah,
dude, yeah, I love it.
All right.
Same.
So
fun story to play with.
So, we're gonna do a quick. We're almost 50 minutes into the show. We are 50 minutes into the show. We have about 20 people here. Thank you guys all for being here. It's Friday night. We're talking comic books. We have Eric Weathers on. I thank him for being here. I thank him for giving us his time. We appreciate it, and we're very, very grateful. And this cheers goes out to you, sir. So, chat, if you got them, drink them. If you're straight edge, well, have a water. But Eric, this one is to you. This is to your success and future success, not just on Battlebrick Road, but everything you touch going forward. So this one's to you, sir. Thank you very much. And cheers to Eric Weathers, guys. Salute.
Thank you.
Salud.
Woo! Oh, I felt that one too. That was good. All right, we got Mike has bad knees. How's it going, Mike? So for $5, as the OG version of Oz was really a political allegory, most of which are still relevant today. Does Battle Brick Road have similar themes? Ooh. Mike has bad knees coming in with the hot. All right.
Yeah, hot question. Yeah, actually, yeah, but one of them happened. It wasn't even intentional. But it's sort of through serendipity, I suppose. Makes total sense. Dorothy arrives in Oz in the first book, and there's a society where everybody wears a mask, and
like the face
the
diaper
overlord.
mask.
Well, it's our version of Munchkin.
Actual mask.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's our version of Munchkin Land, and the overseer of that Munchkin Land is the Watcher of the East, and so she subjugates all of her citizens. They wear this mask, and they're conscious. They can talk to one another, but their motor functions, their actions are controlled by the Watcher. So they're like, she just is playing house with these little munchkins, as she calls them. There's normal people, but wear your mask, be a part of the group. And we had written that and drawn that before anything happened with the pandemic. So, but it lined up, and then the book comes out. It's like we're sitting here like putting it together, and I'm thinking, we have a whole mask sequence here. Put your mask on. Obey, obey, obey. Like be one of us. Be sort of
they
this
live.
sort of yeah.
Wow.
So, and again, that wasn't intentional. It wasn't like, oh, the mask thing is happening. Let's write that into the story. It actually happened before then, but yeah, I mean, I don't think it's completely avoidable either way.
You're right in that regard, and that's fair. And I think that's what makes it even better. It happened organically, and it wasn't one of those things where it has to be about this or else. And there's always been, I don't want to say always, but there has been here and there are times where there is a politically themed type of story, where there was like the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Denny O'Neil type of stuff. And those stories, there was a nuance to it. It wasn't just this really over the head thing. There was something to it that made you like, okay, I can invest in this story. And it was a story first, but the political allegory was a secondary thing, and gave you once again something to think about. And that is the beauty when you take those type of books and makes you think about it, not how you have to think. And that makes such a difference, because it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. I feel you can invest in the story if it's giving you just something to think about, or just have a conversation with somebody like, wow, this is really deep. This is something that I want to talk to people about, because this is a heavy thing. It makes such a difference when you have that versus something that just is there that just beats you over the head. And I feel like there's more of an acceptance to that story than people really intend to believe, but because we're so really bogged down and over the head with it nowadays, we forget that, hey, there are stories that can handle this organically and smartly. It all depends on the delicacy and care you put into it.
Yeah, and I think if like the books that we're seeing now, where everything's sort of overly political, 20 years from now, especially even further down the road, 50 years, the stuff is going to feel way more aged than it would otherwise, right? So if you're putting story first and not agenda first, the story is going to be evergreen. You know, you can look at that story 100 years from now, and if that was what was more important than trying to push a certain point of view or making a certain statement, you know, statements in politics and all, they ebb and flow and they change, but a great story and proper storytelling, that stuff lasts millennium.
Yep.
I mean, my son is reading, you know, he's reading like the Odyssey and stuff. Like, stuff has been around for thousands of years. It's like,
Yeah.
good story will continue. Politics of some political book written by a Roman author isn't making any sense today, but a great story, that's going to stand the test of time.
And it works, especially if it is some kind of allegory that is well done. It can transform through time. For example, you have all the allegory on the apocalypse on the Bible. That was about the tyrannical bastard that was on power at that time. And if you read it now, there's a lot of meaning on things that happen today. Because history kind of repeats itself. People that gain power just go crazy and try to uh, take over everybody and gain power by any means. So those lessons stay, and you
Yeah.
read them. The allegory of that time can change into an allegory for current time or work in really, really strong ways. So there's a lot of precedent for the use of allegory, not just to, in the case of Wizard of Oz, everything regarding Roswell and everything. Uh, yeah, if you read it today, there's things that still hold up for current day politics. So it just works.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, I think story first is important. Not that your story shouldn't be intended to tell a certain theme or what have you. I mean, you're more than welcome to do that as a creator.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think there's an art to the subtlety of it, and also it allows people to read into the story maybe in their own way, seeing it a certain way. Maybe the majority of people will sort of take it as you meant it, but if you leave it vague, then it can mean different things for different people, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's just like a song, you know. An artist is
beat
going to
me
write a
to
song
it.
a
I was gonna
certain
say like
way.
a song. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to write a song a certain way, and then 100,000 people are going to listen to it, and then 100,000 people might each have their own different. It means something different to them. So it can be the same for stories.
That's the beauty of the art form, is when there's something that lots of people can take away something different, because it makes your experience a bit more personalized. That way, it makes it personalized, and it makes your investment that much more personal, and you're like, the attachment's that much stronger, and that's why we became so hooked to these stories, and became emotionally invested. It drives me crazy when people are like, oh, it's just a story, it's just a comedy. It's just like, yeah, sure, at face value, but a lot of these stories throughout history, throughout culture, a lot of our inspiration came from stories like these. And it's very important to know that, because a lot of people tend to forget that. And it's just like, this is what we go to for inspiration. This is where we go to for escapism. This is where we go to build ourselves up and go to seek that higher answer of like, okay, this is what gives me that extra drive to get by through the day. I've had so many, I used to work at a job. Luckily, I've been at a decent job the last few years, but prior to, I've been at jobs that I've hated. But you know what? I knew as soon as I got to the comic shop on Wednesday, I knew that I saw the guys there, and I knew there was the camaraderie. I knew it was worth it to have that one Wednesday where I can go to the shop and hang out there for 3 or 4 hours, talk about the book that we're into at the time, or order a pizza together. It's such a big thing to have that. It's so important. I don't think it's really underutilized and misunderstood, even still to this day, which is weird considering how many legends and myths have come out even hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that whole thing and going to the comic shop and hanging out, I mean, that's the community that you can get around anything, really. The community you have around the nerd culture or whatever it is. I think that's just sort of what drives us as people. Like the community we have here on YouTube, going from you guys hanging out, doing your live streams, and hanging out with the chat. Like, this is my first time here, and it's weird because I do a lot of live streams. I don't recognize any of the names in the chat, and that's kind of cool. So it's like this is a whole new audience for me and new people to hang out with, and it's great.
Let's see that's the cool thing. It's like no matter how much you've gotten around, you're like, holy crap, there's still all these other faces and names that I don't
so
even
many.
recognize. It
Yeah.
really opens your eyes to the world. Like, holy crap, who are you? Who are you? I love it because even when I was at the Dallas meetup where I met Carolyn, obviously me and Culture Casino had our booth right next to her and X-Ray Girl. Then I met Eric July, of course. And now I'm meeting people at our booth, and people are like, "Oh, what's your name? Do you comment in chats?" It blows your mind how many people just listen and lurk, and they don't really comment often. Like, "Oh, I'm under this name," and putting the faces to the names, it really blows your mind how many people are truly out there listening.
Yeah.
You never know. Like my buddy Jason Sandberg earlier, he sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, you gotta look at this." I'm like, okay, what'd you send me? And then he sends me this thing. I'm like, Jason, you did not need to send me this. And it turns out it was Mark Miller who was saying, hey, are you enjoying Big Game? Listen to this brilliant video as everything is examined beautifully. I'm just like, okay, what kind of world is this where someone's like that taking a time to watch a half-hour video? Because I did a review on Big Game number 3 of the buddy of mine who's from this comic sphere. I'm thinking it's a half-hour video. I'm just a guy with 1K subs. I'm not Mahler. There's no way people are gonna go through this. But here, Mark Miller himself saying, "Look at this video." I'm like, dude, what? And also, I got people commenting now on my video. I'm like, I've not seen your names before, but it's funny that once again, it's so awesome to have that excitement, that passion, and once again, more and more people are out there. The world is so big, yet small at the same time in the day and age of social media. I love it. And
it's crazy.
Oh, you got it. Thank you, Common Nerd. Thank you. I see you got the links for Captain Have Fun there. Thank you. So, dude, the print collection.
Yeah.
Once again, another damn cool thing you got going on here. So are these like poster size, regular print size? Because I've gotten some prints before, really cool ones. Like I got one from Ryan Otley many moons back ago. That was really killer. And I really enjoy it. And is this like supposed to be like a big book, regular size book? Or so what's the deal here with this?
This is an 11x17 poster book, print book.
Okay.
So it'll be standard comic book prints that you're used to getting at conventions, 11x17. But they'll be removable. So you'll have the option to keep them in the book. You know, you go to a convention and get the artists in it to sign it. But they'll also be removable if you want to, or get two and, hang them up in one and keep the collection on the shelf for the other ones. Right now there are going to be 10 posters, each one by a different artist, and all new artwork. Nothing from previous campaigns or other covers or anything like that. All Rick Road artwork. Yep. And we've got Dan Lawless doing a piece, Irene Stukowski doing a piece, Shanthan Jetty doing a piece, Chad Townsend doing a piece, and I'm going to do one. Unless I just hire, even more rock stars, and I don't need to put the extra work in. I know I want to reach out to. I really like Rod Looper's work. I want to reach out to him, and then is it Alan Goldman? He does.
Alan Goldman.
He's doing all the stuff for Rob for Replicator 4, and his stuff is phenomenal. So I've got a few other names in the back of my mind I'm gonna reach out to, but as I get artwork in, we'll be updating the campaign and letting people see what these pieces are like. But we're also going to be doing a fan art contest sometime in the future, and the grand prize winner, along with we're going to have a money prize. We're also, whoever gets first place will be put in the book itself in this print book, so that'll be fun too.
Ooh, wow, dude. Mike has bad knees. That's another statement. All the ideas of creativity, man. I love
you.
it, Eric. No, that see that this is the vision for comics moving forward, man. And the interactive experience is so great with the internet and getting to talk to the creators straight face to face and seeing all the ideas. I'm like, man, what's Eric and crew gonna come up with when they come up with the file books? I can't even it's almost like you're setting yourself up for a tall order of files. So it's like,
I know.
how do
Well,
I
I was
catch that
trying
for
to
the
top.
next campaign?
We tried to top a Kenneth Rocafort cover in the first campaign. It's like, well, I don't have that in this one. So what can I do to kind of turn people's heads? So a one of a kind cover, a vinyl record, and an 11x17 print book. Let's go crazy this time and see what people think.
I think it's safe to say you topped it, and you did it in a way you wouldn't expect, because you're like, okay, I can't. Obviously, it's hard to top Kenneth Rocafort in isolation, but you went and did something different to top it, and I think that's what made it work, because you obviously had the print book, you have the vinyl, the one of a kind special edition covers with the print, the gift cards. That alone is like, okay, wow, you actually succeeded in that. Now I'm like, where do you go from here? Like, at the point, do you like?
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm looking forward to it, man. That's what I'm. It's cool because now I've like completely transitioned to this world of these types of comics where it's the 2 to 3 to 4 issues of a book, and then you wait a year to a year and a half to come up for the next one. What do we look at for pages? Because if I remember Battle Brick Road 1, it was, I think, about 80 pages, 70, 80 pages. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it was estimately around there. Well, is it around the same this time? A little more, a little less? Like
the first book, the first story, the 2 chapters together was 60 pages, but we had a backup story in there as well, so it pushed like the total page count, because that was a 12-page backup, that pushed the total page count to 80 with chapter breaks and things like that. So story wise for Battle Brick Road 2, we're going from 60 to 64 pages at least. I don't have a final count. Chapter 3, the first half of this book, is almost done. I have a bunch of pages that are half done, but essentially 7 pages I need to finish before it's done. But a lot of them are like halfway inked, and other ones that are fully penciled. So, and then that'll be the first chapter's 32 pages. Second chapter is at least 32 pages. I've read through it in thumbnail. I don't see me needing to add more pages, but yeah, it'll be 64 for this next one. So I want to try and make it another 80-page book, however. So if we have to put in some back matter or fan art in the back of the book to make it another 80-page book, I like the symmetry of all the books being the same width. That's just a little OCD thing.
Dude, I got that too. Oh man, you're preaching to the damn choir. With that.
as a designer, like I do pre-press. It's part of my gig with the Ripperverse, and I do it for other clients, and obviously for my own book. And when you're dealing with spine widths, you have to change so much in order to get it to fit, because it's thinner. Now all the stuff on the spine has to be smaller, and it doesn't line up. It's not going to line up exactly the same. So if I can get the books the same thickness, everything will be uniform when you're looking at it on the shelf. And I really like that. So
I do too. I like, especially, I'm a big physical media collector, but comics, good movies that I've liked. I like having that shelf that looks nice, because I've had people tell me, when they come to my house, it looks like a museum. And I love hearing that. To me, that's like the ultimate compliment. I want people to see the history, whether it's the shelves with the cool action figures, or the wall that has the cool posters and flags, or the cool shelf of movies, the shelves of the cool trade paperbacks and omnibuses, anthologies, etc., etc. I'm trying to I'm already envisioning the Battle Brick Road collection amongst all the greats. That's a vision. That's dreams right there to aspire.
I'm looking forward to that too.
And having access to that decoration is something that really, really matters, because sometimes you don't want to just show the figurine or have the comic just displaying. You want to have the big poster, and there's I don't know if this is something feasible. I love those metal posters like the displays or such that you actually just put in the wall. But I have played with the commercial ones, the ones that you use for malls and things like that, that are really really strong. And there's a finish that is matte, is the contrary to glossy, is
Mhm.
opaque. That is really good. I use those kind of posters for my wall, or with this finish for my wall, because I use LED on the ceiling, and that has a lot of reflection. And when you are in certain angles, you can't see the poster properly. It will just shine bright or something, or the colors doesn't look right, and that is really annoying when you love the art, when you really
Yeah.
want to be able to see it from any angle and you want it in the most important place in the house. So is that feasible, having posters in a small production, that in any of those categories or both?
It's I guess really anything's possible. One of the things about being an independent creator is being able to pivot and be maneuverable for merchandise is fairly easy. I'm in a unique position that I have a personal relationship with our printer, so that helps. We have sort of carte blanche to throw anything at them and at least have them give it a shot. So that is another thing that makes it easy for us to at least try something. With the first campaign, we did 24 by 36 posters, oversized posters. But that was one of those things we learned, like, they're not easy to do. They're hard to ship. They're expensive to ship, especially overseas. I mailed one to Mike Bancroft in Australia, and it cost me $60 just to get it across the ocean. That was what, 2020. So yeah,
that's
it
Owen
was
Wilson. Wow, holy crud!
wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I've thought about, because I think you can open like a merchant store on Display specifically. So like for the covers that I've done, I would like to do that, have those options. But that's sort of a down the road kind of thing to see. Right now, it's like, let's get the books done, let's do the campaign thing, and then other merchandising options we'll see where they land.
Well, Eric, I got some news for you. So a few minutes ago, your campaign was at 25,413, but now it's 25,478.
Oh yeah,
Dude, guys,
excellent.
let's give it up. Woo, hoo, 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 hoo. I don't know
Thank
if
you
it
so
was
much.
a lurker or whoever that was. Thank you. Hell yeah. That's what. Oh, dude. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no, seriously. That is what we like to see around here. So I don't know if you're listening to stream or you just happen to be someone by chance, but whoever you are the man, the lady, whatever. Thank you. Hell yeah. All right. So you got this killer Battle Brick Road 2 cover B by John Malin. Obviously, he's been a very essential name in the scene for a few years now. And this brought me to something I thought about. And if there could be a few guys, maybe we'll just say for realistic number 3, who are some 3 pros? If you could be like, you know what, I want you to do a cover or something, or maybe a piece of merchandise. Who are some big name creators you could get, whether it's a George Perez or Lee Weeks? Who, if you could get anyone involved to do something for you, whether it's a book, shirt, whatever, just anything. Who are 3 creators who are the first names? Because obviously we could go on for days about ones we like because there's so many good ones, but who are the first 3 that immediately come to your mind that you've not? And if you had to say that, hey, you're coming in because that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. Who are the first 3 to come to your mind?
Dave Raposa, who's not not a comic book artist. Well, he has done comics.
What's his deal?
He's an illustrator, concept artist, painter, does comic. He does everything. He's my absolute all-time favorite artist ever. He is phenomenal. In fact, you can't really see them very well because I have a ton of glare. But these Ninja Turtle portraits are his. That he did these.
Oh,
so I have all 4 Ninja Turtles here.
Those are killer, dude. So I'm assuming you read The Last Ronin then.
Oh yeah. See, they're so well hung. I can't even take them down to show you. Now they're crooked. Now look what I've done.
No, it's okay,
so,
man.
Oh, hang on. I'm
so
pulling some of this.
yeah,
We're big
Dave Raposa's
TMNT fans on this panel, so
Okay.
you're already right in locks up with us. This works out.
yeah. So Dave Raposa would be number one. Zach Howard would be number two.
Okay.
He is one. He's a heck of a guy. He's a great guy. But his artwork is phenomenal. I have this piece of his.
Oh, we're gonna zoom in on you. Bring it.
This
Bring it.
Alien vs. Predator.
Oh.
And then
Man, that's sexy.
That is sick.
I actually have him doing a sketch cover, just like a personal commission that I'll be picking up in November at a local convention that we're both going to be at. And then I have an Iron Giant that he drew over here as well. That's a poster.
What?
My kids have some Spider-Man Venom and a not a Last Ronin. I forget what he called it, but it's Leonardo as if he were the Last Ronin.
Oh, nice.
And then, so yeah, there's Dave Raposa, and that stuff's like 15 years old at this point. Like he is
that incredible.
So I have the 4 turtles. I need to get Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady, and Splinter, and Casey Jones, and
Metalhead. I like a good one in metal. I'm a Metalhead guy. Like I like with my children because I'm a dad too. So shout out to the dads out there. Like we watched a 2012 cartoon, which I feel like is hardcore overlooked, and I'll admit I was guilty of that as well because it's one of those shows where I'm like, the animation puts me off, but once you actually look past it, the story's actually there and then some. And they're like, wow, I would never expect this because usually the animation's a sign that all roads lead to, well, bad things per se. But the story is really damn good in all 5 seasons of the 2012 show. So we're
it's
big
a great one.
It got my kids invested, and now they love it. Now they want to know about the 80s cartoon. I've shown them the 1990 movie. They now they want to know about it all. So I'm like, it was the perfect gateway because there's a little bit of elements if you're a fan of like the 1984 Kevin Eastman comic, but then there's stuff that totally is like in line with the 1987 cartoon. It really blends the best of those both worlds. You get a little bit of both in that cartoon. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, that 2012 one was really good. I really liked the way that they designed the turtles. I liked the toys were cool because my son was
those were overlooked.
2 and 3 and 4 when that came out, and so we were getting those Ninja Turtles when he was a little kid.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm gonna be bragging rights here because I'm that guy. My panel knows this, and maybe 1 or 2 people who were in the chat from way back when. So back when the 2012 cartoon was the thing, they released a line of figures, and they were doing stuff where they meshed with the WWF guys. And I got one of Donatello as the Undertaker.
Okay, that's amazing.
All right, here's the Skeeth dude. Yeah, dude. I have 2 other ones. Michelangelo on my other shot. I see Michelangelo as Roddy Piper, and then Michelangelo as Macho Man Randy Savage. But dude, you are not kidding when you said that 2012 figures are killer. They're a bit bigger too. They got a little extra detail compared to the 80s one. It's like, yeah, I get it. The nostalgia is there for the 80s one. Like but look, let's see. It's cool because this is the original one, by the way, of the 80s figure. This is the original. But you see how much smaller there. But we obviously grew up then, so we had that default attachment. But then you look at this guy, dude. This is an actual Undertaker. So really, really, really killer figures nonetheless. And there's been some really cool ones too, like where they did one with the Stranger Things, where they have them from when they all have red.
I've seen those at Target.
Yes, I have the Hopper and Raphael collaboration, and they even got the tails too. Remember the tails where they had the tails focused for a little bit, so they got rid of it for obvious reasons per se. Oh no, dude. Yeah, we did a thing where we covered the issue of The Last Ronin individually, and one of the pencilers, Ben Bishop, was listening to our shows on and off, and that was cool. He reached out and let us know. He's like, I'm happy to hear you guys really enjoy this comic the way you do. We're like, whoa, what? you're listening to our stuff. Don't you have better things to do on a Friday night? We're just a bunch of Joe Schmoes. And this was at a time. So, we have around, 20 people listening here on, kind of goes slightly up, slightly down. But when we were doing those shows, that was when like 5 people were listening. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
What possesses you to listen to us? We can see why now, but at the time, like, bro. But no, he was really invested, and that's so cool because the
That's
last
cool.
Ronin, we were really, really invested. So okay, anyways, let's get back to Battle Brick Road 2. So you've given out your top 3 of whom you like to work with, guys. So chat, this is once again, it's Battle Brick Road 2, battlebrickroad.com. All right. So is there anything, I obviously with this big movement coming out, some people call it CG, some call it the Iron Age, a little bit of both. What are you looking to tell for future creators who are aspiring? Because I feel like nowadays in this current movement, we are like drunk on power in the sense that we're just so hungry for good material that people are just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna pick up a pencil. Shit, I'm gonna get the brush going. What is your way of saying, you know what, dude, just get going? What is your pitch of tell people just get going and get inspired? What is your way of going about it?
That's a great question. I've had it before, and my initial advice is don't wait. If you have an idea, figure out how to get it out to the world, whether it's a comic book, a short story, a webtoon, whatever. Don't feel like you have to wait before you're good enough at drawing or writing or whatever, because you're going to get stuck in trying to get better without actually ever getting anything done. So, it's okay that if you put out something and it's not perfect or not great, and the fact is you're still putting something out, and that is something that most people don't do. So you'll already be ahead of the curve if you do that. And the tying into that, I'd say start small. You don't need to write your 12-volume, 800-page epic graphic novel and feel like you're not doing anything unless you do that. I see it. I've seen it a lot. Like I said, I've been doing indie comics for 13 years. So having those ambitions are great, but start small and kind of see what it takes to put a book out, see what it takes to write it and draw it, or hire somebody or collaborate with a friend, how to get it colored and lettered and how to get it ready for print. You do that on small scale, and then you'll know, like, okay, this is what I can expect for something larger. That's how I started, and we did an 8-page ashcan, both for Flying Fortress back in like 2010 and for Battle Brick Road in 2017 or 18. So, get started, start small, and humble beginnings and all that. They can turn into great things.
You know what? I strongly agree with that. When I started this channel, like I did, and also absolutely didn't know what I was doing when I started this channel, and now almost 1,700 subs. It's like, holy crap, there's actually something here to it. But I remember when I was at 100 subs, I'm like, who's gonna listen to this? Why would someone listen? It reminds me of that old school Simpsons episode. Gee, Lisa, why the hair? Why the necklace? Why anything? And I was thinking that about me. Why anything?
Yeah.
And well, now here we are at this point in my life. I got gentlemen like you on. I've got an excellent amount of members here, and we got cool shows. We get to entertain and please people and go a little bit beyond the surface and not just, everything's about the culture war. We want to be the solution. This is something that this Friday night show is really specialized in. We want to provide the antidote to people. We've had you on. We've had Gabe El Taib on a year or so back when he was promoting Truth, Justice, American Way. We want to be the antidote. It's one thing when you talk about it, and that's fine and all, but it's so much more when you can say, hey, here's what we can do to respond to that. I think there's an extra power to that when you compete. And not only you're just a competitor, but a damn good one. And as someone who's now read True Justice American, which I loved, and now I've read ISOM 2, vast improvement from ISOM 1. I'm like, we have something here with this whole movement here where I feel legitimately confident we can compete. It's not about bringing it to the mainstream, but it's showing for those who want to be into this medium, we got stuff for you to get into the goods. Whether it's stories like TJAW, where you can jump in, jump out, or you can go to Irene and you can jump into this whole big, gigantic fantasy world. You can delve in over time. We have it all covered here. The same way like manga has all genres covered. We're doing that now. I love it. And it brings me so much extra life to my life to be talking about what's going on here. And it's that's another thing too. We keep talking about we need an alternative, but we're not talking about it. And that's why I'm trying to have guys like you on so we can talk about it, so we can bring eyes to your stuff, because it's amazing how one show can bring that many more eyes to your show.
Yeah, and it happens
to your book
so randomly too. Like, and I love it. You got skin in the game, right? You're out here promoting stuff, talking about the Iron Age, talking about CG, promoting books for people. We need more of that, just in general. I love seeing fans come together and make shows like this, and not just creators also doing that, but having fans that are so invested in it that you're spending your Friday night hanging out on YouTube to talk about what's going on in the scene. And yes, we do have comparable or even better stories. You know, a lot of people can say, but the books are late or whatever. You know, I'm used to the monthly, get the books every month for the 22 pages. And that's, I understand that argument, but if you look fast forward 10, 15, 20 years and look back, none of that stuff's going to matter. What's going to matter is the story that you made, and will it stand up against all the other stories that are out there, or at least stand on, sit on the sit on the shelf alongside the rest of them. That's what's important. Again, it goes back to our earlier discussion, is how the story is king, and the other stuff might be, tumultuous in the time that we're doing it right now, in the moment. But you look back through history and you think, yeah, but Battle Brick Road was awesome. It's still
a lot of people forget that Watchmen was a monthly comic. A lot of people forget that. It's not about how you feel about it, positively or negatively. That's neither here nor there. But the fact is, it was a monthly comic, the same way an Old Man Logan was. They were monthly comic books. But people don't talk about that today. They talk about them as a collected entity, as a story as a whole. And it's that, once again, that's something we forget a lot. Is a lot of those stories, even Dark Knight Returns, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Death of Superman, whatever story you want to name, legendary. Just put insert legendary storyline here, insert story here. Those are all monthly storylines at one point in time, but they're not being discussed like that today. They're being discussed as a story as a whole. And
Nick, it almost sounds like you're talking about the binge model with streaming.
I know, right? Well, I try to see things from many perspectives: the comic book perspective, the business perspective, the fan perspective. I try to see through these things as many angles as possible, because I've been a fan. I've been a very, I'll just say it, I'm an obsessed fan, reader. I want to understand things. So, and then of course there's the normie side. I want to understand these perspectives. To me, I want to try to understand the audience as much as possible, because you have various perspectives who are watching these things and they want to understand. And all it takes is for that one normie to come in and be like, oh, wow, I don't know what this is, but this Battle Brick Road sounds fun. And this sounds like a good time. I want to check this out. And that's
want that too.
Someone's rabbit hole starts. And that's the ultimate high, is to be the one to be like, I got that person to have their gateway.
If you think about the comics that you mentioned, they were monthly, but the ending is actually the thing that makes it worth getting the compilation, getting the book, because when it's monthly, you are buying it, and if it gets boring or you don't like it, you just drop it, right? But years later, when actually it becomes a legend because how it has a really good ending, or the story is really cohesive, so it works together, well, the compilation is a no-brainer. And
Mhm.
in the case of Watchmen, I think it has sold a lot more than the single issues, because
Oh yeah.
people keep buying it and keep buying it. It's goddamn good. You cannot do anything about it. Hunting the separated issues is a lot of money when you can buy. I saw Watchmen complete in Spanish, sadly.
Well, you're from Ecuador,
Yeah,
bud, so it makes
yeah, I
sense.
know. I wanted the English version. That's the sad part. It was $40 for $40 getting Watchmen. Okay, why not?
Yeah.
Because it's absolutely worth it. So that's the common factor on every single one of those stories. The whole story is worth it. That's why the compendium is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, the story is what matters the most, not
exactly.
whether it was a floppy or whatever. Because the good stories, they're going to stay on people's shelves because people are still talking about Watchmen. They're still talking about the Dark Knight. Those stories lasted because they were important to people, and hopefully, something like Battle Road will be remembered in same same breath. I'm, wishful thinking perhaps, but I'd like to think so at least.
That's how it's supposed to be. It's not just about wishful thinking, but it's about you want to be the best you can be. Because when you see others kicking ass and taking names, it inspires you. Like, okay, I gotta top that.
Mhm.
That's how it should be. Not, oh crud, this one guy put out this thing. It's the end of my career, and it's all downhill from here.
Yeah.
You want to get inspired by this stuff. Like, I remember when once again a few weeks ago, I had like the ultimate triple attack. I got Truth Justice American Way, then Jupiter, then ISOM #2. Everything was just happening all at once. And then also a few weeks later, Salamandroid Death Sting. I'm like, holy crap, everything just coming all at once. And I'm like,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. And I'm like getting happy with all these books. And I love that thing. I'm like, these guys are all really, truly rubbing off each other and getting that momentum. Like, okay, I see what this guy's doing. I gotta do better than that. That's how it should be. That's what makes the movement the best. Because if you look at a lot of the eras of things, a lot of eras are best when they have someone to compete against. Like baseball, you had the home run era with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Wrestling, WWF and WCW. Marvel and DC in the 2000s. It wasn't just where Batman was selling. It was a time when Hal Jordan and the Teen Titans were selling versus the Captain Americas of the world. It wasn't just Spider-Man, Batman. These was other books from Marvel, DC selling as well. And when you guys are getting inspired by each other, that's where you're like, okay, I see what this guy's doing. How do I top him? And I gotta figure that out quick. That's gotta be the ultimate energy right there to
The
feed
best
off
eras
that.
are often when you have to like sit and decide what books am I picking up with my $10 this week? Like what book is the I can't live without this? When you have multiple companies able to do that, you're in a good time. You want to be able to have you want to be able to have all the ships rising high.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the ideal thing. And I think the competition of trying to be better than the guy next to you, in whatever the field is, comics, music, what have you, that's where you're going to get the most growth because, you want to get better so that you can, be like, hey, look what I can do now. And then the other guy says that about you and you're like, dang it. It reminds me when I was in high school, we would walk around we would take our guitars to school and like walk around the hallways and play them. And so a buddy and I would sort of bring our guitars and then we'd hang out in after band, and it would be like, what did you learn? Oh, well, I just learned, the lick to Black Dog, and let me play it for you. And he's like, man, I can't play that yet, so, and then he'd come back next week with something else, and I'd be like, dude. So, and that whole thing is what drives us, because I'm looking at the pages I'm drawing right now for Battle Brick Road 2 and thinking, these are really good. I'm really happy with it. But then somebody's going to come out with a book, next month, and I'm going to think, dang it, they did this, and I want to be able to do that too. So that's going to push me further, and hopefully I push somebody else further. So yeah, I love it. It's kind of what makes the whole thing tick.
Straight up, man. I love that you see it from that point of view, because I feel like we're bringing, like, this whole corner of YouTube, we're bringing meritocracy back to the forefront. And man, the amount of sweet books as a customer, like obviously Coster, Common Nerd, we get to be the customers. Like, we're gonna like look back at this time, when we're all 40, 45. But remember when this was new? I want to be at that point where, like, remember we had Eric Weathers on? I thought about that Saturday Night Live skit, Chris Friday. Remember the time when this happened? That was awesome.
Yeah,
I want this moment to be my Chris Farley moment 20 years from now.
I remember.
That was awesome. Oh man, guys, once again, battlebrickroad.com. There's a print collection. There's a gift card, $10, a 7-inch vinyl EP, special edition cover that comes with print, a cover A, cover B, and if you're one of those ones who is very ambitious, there's the I want it all. Guys.
Oh yeah, something else that we can do on this website. Obviously, you see we've got 2 days left. We are going to extend for another 30 days. That'll be the main sort of campaign. After that, we will be quote unquote in demand and continuing to raise funds. After that end of the second 30 days, all of the discount prices are going to go away and things will just be normal prices as you see them. So if you want to get in and get the discount, do it now. Also, the fact that we're on Shopify, we have shop pay options. So anything that's $50 or more, so the duo book bundles or the high end bundles, you can actually split your payments up over 4 installments. It's interest free. I have seller protection, you have buyer protection. So if you wanted I want it all, you don't have to drop the $230 right now. You can split it up over I think it's 4 months, I think it is, or maybe it's every 2 weeks. I forget how it breaks down. But then
it's 4 interest-free payments. All right.
Yeah, there you go. Another
Dude,
thing is
that's the best thing to ever happen to internet retailing. Being able to do stuff like that.
Just put it on layaway.
Yeah, exactly. Layaway's back, baby.
Yeah, it is. So we have that option, which is great. Yeah, I've gotten, most of the people that backing the higher tier are doing that because it's not hitting your pocketbook as much and you still get everything you want. The other thing I want to point out, if you want us to sign the books, you need to do that add-on signature. It's free. So you can, you don't have to pay extra for signatures. The only book that's guaranteed to get signed is the special edition cover because we're doing a book plate in that one specifically. But if you want signatures, you can add them on. And if you grab one of the big bundles, the Superfan bundle or the I Want It All bundle, and you add a T-shirt, the T-shirt will be 25% off with either of those 2 bundles. So,
woo!
Yeah.
All right. So we got you for a few more minutes. All right.
Yeah, I got to bounce here in like 4 minutes.
And we'll get you there. I see you got your $25,000 Tin Man cards stretch goal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any stretch goals planned beyond this for after?
Yes. Yes.
Any
In
probabilities
fact,
that you feel ready to share, or is that going to remain a secret for now? What
no,
are
actually,
some hopefuls that you'd like to accomplish, even if it's not what you have in mind for the next thing?
I want to do another 1 or 2 trading cards.
Okay.
Because we did a stack of 5 of them for the first book, and we want to continue that so people can have a whole collection of 20 or 30 or however many you have by the end of the whole series. So we're going to continue to add to that collection. One of the stretch goals, I would like to reach a certain amount. I don't I have to run the numbers to see where that's at. I'm thinking it's about 50, but
Okay.
that's where we want to do the fan art contest, so we have enough to be able to pay the winners and things like that. But as far as like book upgrades, there's not much we can do. One of the things I have been saying ever since the first campaign, when we reached certain milestones with it, was we added like spot gloss to the cover. Those kinds of upgrades are it's sort of unlocked forever now. So it's not like we have to unlock spot gloss again and we have to unlock the other thing again for the next book and the next book. It's like you got it that time. You're gonna those two main covers are already gonna have the spot gloss on them. So like the stretch goals that we want to do are just adding a few extra things here and there to sort of hopefully entice people to back, or just give you a little extra for free for already backing. So right now, trading cards, just little odds and ends like that. And if something else comes to mind, maybe we can put in a sleeve into the record or something, maybe like a 2 or 3 page
the vinyl
book
sleeve.
or something.
Yeah, dude, man, you're making me a match. I'm like, wow, that'd be damn cool. Once again, as someone who's a sucker who likes going through the vinyls, look at the art, look at the liner notes. I'm imagining. I'm like, oh man, that's
I would
killer.
really love to have just a mini comic in there that's only available in the vinyl.
Yeah.
Just like a little 4-page story or something that fits in there. I'd love to be able to do that.
Wow.
That
I like it.
going.
Fucking awesome, dude. All right, man. Well, hey, seriously, Eric, thank you very, very much for being here. Lucky you made some more, you got another backer out of this.
Yep.
And I'm very thankful for your time, your presence, and your knowledge, your advice, your energy. I love it. And I really truly feel like you're gonna continue to do greatness with Battlebrick Road 2 and things that come forward after this. Seriously, thank you for being here, and we'll be in touch to talk about having you on stuff like Comics Division. We'll be in touch for that. I promise. I'll probably reach it. This week I'll reach out to you. It'll be great. But dude,
okay,
I'm so happy we could do this. I love having you here, hanging out with you, hearing your story, hearing what makes you you. And I thank you for simply being you as well. So do you have anything else you want to plug on the way out before you head on out to your next show?
Yeah, obviously back Battlebrick Road 2. We would love to have your support on this campaign. The more, the more books we sell, the more we can keep doing this. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's or X, I guess we're calling it these days.
Yeah, right. What are we talking?
X Twitter.
There it is, right there. Eric
right here,
Weathers on Twitter and
you.
Instagram, and Eric Weathers on YouTube. Yeah, I think that about covers it. So yeah, give me a follow. See what I'm up to.
All right, dude. Well, you're go on out, go promote your book. Have a great night, and you and I will be in touch, my friend. Thank you.
Sounds good, man. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me on the show. It was great. Later, guys.
Take care.
See ya.
Guys, that was Eric Weathers with Battlebrick Road 2. Hell yeah. Oh, man. Fucking awesome, guys. Once again, yeah. Go follow him on Twitter. Check out his book right here, battlebrickroad.com. Oh, guys.
Check out his YouTube channel. There's some videos on there.
He does have a YouTube channel, and this is about lettering too. That's a very important.
Yeah, I know he's actually got a Gumroad for that too. I actually had it. I couldn't find his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. Here, I actually, if you go on, since you're on my open stream page, if you click on his name, it brings you straight to his channel because I have his channel tagged. When you just click on his name, the same way I have all you dudes tagged. And we'll go for about a half hour. Then we'll wrap it up. But Wakazashi, dude, I just want to say off the bat, I gotta watch your video on Big Game number 3, dude. I just want to say, I swear I did not mean to do a very similar looking thumbnail to you. I saved your video to watch later. I'm like, damn it. Him and I have the same thumbnail, but just flip flopped. Crap.
Dude, that happens all the time, even with jokes on the videos. I remember one time I was editing a video and had that scene of Lucas kicking somebody out of the office
Mhm.
and hitting him, and Perry Chan used exactly the same clip. The video they released it like 4 hours before ours, and ours was already, so we had the same clip for different jokes and everything, but it was exactly the same clip. Shit happens, man. I
I
wa-
think we should maybe have him beat him up.
Well,
Yes, George.
Dude, that clip is so goddamn fucking funny. The guy, is an interview or something, and the guy goes like, "Hey, you created Mara Jade, right?" And Lucas just flips and starts hitting him and get out, get the fuck out. I love Lucas.
Get out. Get out. And we don't talk about Mara Jade.
So, Wacky, Eric O'Sullivan, Sully, was such a good dude, such a fun guy to hang out with. It's funny because before him and I went live, I'm like, let's see if we can figure out like a 15-minute video. He's like, yeah, that sounds great. I thought that sounded great too. And then a half hour happened. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, do I change it? I'm like, no, fuck it. It's on like dog. And Wakazashi and I had a 23-minute video. I'm like, holy crap, we went even longer. I was like, oh, okay. I guess this has to happen. Cowabunga it is, bro. So no, but I did Big Game issue number 2 with Wacky, and I did Eric issue number 3. I'm like, man, who do I have a few people who I'd like to ask for issue 4. Maybe I'll even get like a mini panel for issue 5. I was thinking about it because that'd be funny. I could get like Wacky, Eric, whoever I have for issue 4, then maybe like an additional guy, and have like a 6-man panel for issue number 5, the conclusion, since it's an oversized anywhere. I'm even just doing all around stream for it, just because Big Game has been, well, such a big deal. So yeah, Big Game, guys, has been kicking ass from Mark Miller and Pepe Larraz. And I want to echo something that your boy Zach has mentioned on his channel, because this is something I feel the same way about too. I think Pepe Larraz really is his strongest with his pencils here, also with a colors that really complements his style the best, especially since the colorist has those little dots that reminds me of the old comic book style. I'm like, oh damn, I'm a sucker for that. I'm a damn sucker, and those sons of bitches, they got me with it. Pepe is really shining so much more with having such a good colorist. I'm like, damn, dude. Yeah, Big Game is kick ass, folks. Go read it. And I know Conan the Barbarian number 3 hits next week. I mean, I think we might have to. Well, we might have to have a chat caster. I'm just saying. You know,
And then,
you know how that
and then
is.
and then the week after that is the relaunch of Transformers.
Oh yeah! I think I want to do that scream. They remember that part in Predator where I'll lift up the stick. It's like, ah! And I feel like it transcended 3 universes when he did that. I mean, that's how I feel when I know like all those things are on the pipeline.
There's
Oh.
there's a lot of little good books kind of coming out that are just kind of flying under the radar. Though it seems like this Transformers book is going to wind up being one that I think people are going to be, that a lot of people seem to be putting a lot of hope and expectations on.
You and I will talk about that. Maybe I'll see if we could get Diesel in on that too. If not, I'll send Diesel a copy. Diesel, you hear that? I'll send you a copy since you're a Dolph Lundgren member. You hear that? A huge Dolph Lundgren member. might I add on that? So maybe I'll send him a bonus copy just for
Me.
supporting. So, yeah,
Just a little bit of time here.
go for it.
Let me dig up a couple of variant covers because they have a lot of variants coming out for this book.
Fuck it. Let's admire some covers.
All right, just give me a second so I can kind of load some stuff up.
Oh no, you're good, man. Just get it up and let's admire, because that's what the great men of the world do. They admire the greatness. And while you do that, I've got to get my little extra bonus thingy.
Hey, don't forget, I got a bonus thingy tonight that you told me I had to get taken care of by tonight. Had to get read the whole thing because you wanted to talk about it, and I did it. And now he's all like, I'm ready to wrap it up in like 30 minutes. Like, really?
Bonus thingy
Really, man?
sounds so goddamn dirty.
Yeah, it does.
Bundle thingy, dude. You should have just chimed in, man. That's the beauty of those conversations. You go in, man. You should have
That's
just
what I
butted in. But no,
I wanna
while
butt
we're
in.
here, why don't you actually tell the people in chat? We'll cast it. Oh, all right. After this
What
link,
Caster got? Let's
let Caster show off some
What
art,
the-
and after
Oh,
that
this is-
link,
Aw.
after you show off some
That's
art,
cool.
let's talk about our ISOM
Wow.
2 thoughts from Caster and Common Nerd.
So look, being Transformers, we gotta of course have the big team ups of we gotta have the full Autobot team, and we apparently somewhere in the Decepticon there's like 20 something variant covers they're lined up with this, which include a bunch of various website exclusives. We have a couple of convention exclusives, that sort of thing.
Oh, that's glorious.
Alan,
The thing is, okay, collection variants are really, really expensive, but if you go out of the way to make them really stupid rare, you are just an asshole. And I'm saying this because I have seen that happen with comics and video games throughout the years, and all those Best Buy only or shit like that sell poorly become
oh,
stupid pricey.
this
Because,
I
well,
think is going to be one of those kind of like shop exclusives. But holy shit, I love this cover.
yeah. The first that you showed, the one that is really retro, I love that.
With all the Autobots.
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah, this was a cover they were using to sort of tease the lineup of the book because they were just kind of doing them one by one for silhouettes. And so they would start off with like, oh yeah, here's Ratchet, here's like Ratchet in the corner, or here's Optimus, and it was pretty standard bog affair. And then they get down, and you're like, surely that's going to be Bumblebee, right? No, we're not getting Bumblebee. We're getting Cliff Jumper, which really threw me for a loop. I was not expecting like Robert Kirkman's company to do that to me, but I should have kind of known better considering Kirkman.
Wait, explain that. Why Kirkman?
Okay, Robert Kirkman runs Skybound.
Mhm.
And you remember Robert Kirkman, The Walking Dead? He faked everyone out by ending The Walking Dead without anyone ever realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
He teased announcing that the Transformers was coming by putting Jetfire into a completely unrelated book as a tease. This is the kind of stuff Kirkman does.
So he basically does Easter eggs for his future jobs because why not?
A little bit, but it's also a bit of you don't quite know what to expect with him.
Huh, I like it. Sounds really fun.
It's the Alan Kwok variant. Very well detailed.
Dude,
Yep, and Vince Womack's right. It was Void Rivals. Oh,
how many cool
All right,
covers?
I'm back. Who did this cover? That's shiny. That is shining bright like a damn diamond. A little bit
Little,
trolling.
little cough. It's like Raphael. I will have to get. I'll figure that out. Carnivore Comics, Grassetti trade variant. Oh, here. Oh, there it is. Just like the Virgin variant.
Wow, that is virgin tight. Look at that cover. Oh wow! And this
This is a bit more in line with the sort of IDW look.
Yeah, Cybertron.
It's because it
looks
is,
crazy
man.
good.
It's, Transformers and GI Joe are once again back in the same universe together, and that's what Kirkman's whole thing is about. And I know he's got Larry Hama doing, I think, the traditional tile where they're continuing the traditional numbering at 301. I can't remember which comic it was tile, but he's doing a comic where it's continuing the traditional numbering. Oh, dude, that's a Ryan Otley. I was just speaking about Ryan Otley earlier on the show, dude. Ryan Otley has a great passion and energy for drawing not just action, but really colorful stuff that is really bright. And I love when Otley does this stuff. And to know Otley as a cover is like, hot damn, dude.
This will be variant cover D, so chances are your
there you
shop
go,
will probably be able to get it. Oh, this looks like it has, just according to the League of Comic Geeks, like 20 plus variants, including some like
crap
stuff.
I mean, I'd probably get the Ryan Otley and stop at there personally, but I can see why people are into this type of thing. I'm looking at that traditional cover and the Ryan Otley variant. Maybe obviously because I love Ryan Otley from Invincible, so it's like, okay, that makes sense. This is not a bad cover though from Cliff Chiang. Though.
90s.
I do like this cover.
It's full 90s.
We can admire it still.
Yeah, this is one I think I might pick up if my shop has it.
Okay. No,
Francis Manipul.
Francis Manipul. Yeah.
I want this as a
this
poster.
is good. I do like this. And I know Francis Manipul is a very capable penciler. His style is very statuesque, very characters and poses type of a story. So I feel like he is very suitable for the covers. He's definitely very suitable for the cover. So I think this is definitely for those who are a variant collector. I could see why this would be, well, I guess you could say just up your alley, assumably.
Oh, just a 1 in 100. Spoilers.
From my shop, okay, so the shop that I go to, it's one of the biggest ones in the state of Illinois. We will probably have this cover. I won't look at it because I'm such a traditionalist with covers. I'm usually just a cover A guy through and through. So I'm just going to be like, hey, just Key, give me the regular cover. And then I get my regular cover. And it's all good, you know. It's just like, hey, Mickey, can you just give me the regular cover? I'm good with that, man. I'm easy and low maintenance like that. Give me that. So I'll just get the regular cover so I can find out the spoilers for myself. But yeah, Mike has bad knees. There's an army load of variants, but it's clear that a lot is writing on this book from Image and Skybound.
The Johnson just dunks on him.
Literally dunks on him.
Okay.
Tell me this is for a sportswear store, at least something like that.
Like, I want to put this on the shelf next to like Godzilla playing basketball. Now I want to see. Oh my god! I want the Transformers.
Oh man!
And Godzilla.
Yeah, Jason.
Oh shit! We got Jason Fox here from
Hey, Jace.
540 Studio. Which, Jason, I did get your message. I will get back to you this weekend about it. Let me acknowledge your membership here, and Jason here has become a Balls to the
Oh.
wall member. Oh, you know what happens when he's a balls to the wall member? We have to play the clip. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Good old accept balls to the wall. Well, Jason, thank you for becoming a member, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. Seriously, got a little accept to rock out to for a split few seconds as well. And yes, if I do play 10 seconds of that clip, Nuclear Blast Records absolutely guns it for me when I do. So I have to do like 5 freaking seconds. Otherwise, they pin the hammer down on me, which they already have every time. So I've had to play like 5 seconds of it to avoid it. So, anyways. Let's I actually don't mind the Scotty Young variant.
Yeah. I don't tend to really like the kind of more chibi style ones, but I kind of like the look of it.
No, I'm with it. Oh, that's things from another world.
Oh, I really like this one. This is a podcast exclusive.
That's fascinating. A podcast. So who's a podcast? Is it something that DWJ does? Because now here's the thing with DWJ. He tends to really mostly do his own stuff, especially in the last few years. Like with Image, he had Extremity and Murder Falcon, which he wrote and drew with Mike Spicer doing the colors for. And then he did Wonder Woman Dead Earth for Black Label DC. And then he did Beta Ray Bill for Marvel. Now he's doing Transformers. And I heard this is an ongoing for him, which is shocking because DWJ has really been in the last 6-7 years really tied down to limited series only. So it makes me think if it's an ongoing book, is he going to stick around? Because, you know, Transformers are an ongoing book. They're not a limited series book.
I mean, there's with just so many different characters out there. There's so much possibility for doing little one-off stories. I mean,
yeah,
I've recommended. There's so many IDW did that. We're good. Off the top of my head, like all the 3 record books, for example, absolutely recommend those. EJ Sue, like I think this might be my favorite cover. This one I might have tried to track down. Like I love the kind of watercolor pencil sketch sort
I do
of.
like it too. I hear that. No, that is a nice guy. Vincenzo Federici. I can't pronounce his name, but I do recognize that name. I have seen him around these parts of the world. No, he's good, man. He's good. I will say that. And guys, so Caster, I know you said you read a portion of ISOM number 2. Why don't you say your thoughts on what you have read so far, and then Commenter will follow. Then we'll plug our channels on the way out.
It feels a little kind of jumping back into it. Getting back into the swing of things. It's interesting, kind of getting to see like Isom a little bit of Isom's past, where he's doing the hero thing, trying to save a life, and how those events affected him. That I feel was an important thing to show that, hey, the hero may not always be able to save the day in the end.
That's an important one. Yeah, it's a deep moment too. It's a deep cutting moment. I actually felt like, I guess you could say, the mental wound from that scene. When I saw that, I was just like, oh damn, this is serious here.
And why he may just walk away. Like, because it seemed like in the first issue, like he's got a lot of kind of baggage holding him back, and to now get a chance to peel back a layer of this onion.
Mm-hmm. It's a big layer too. This part, it's a big layer. It's a big layer.
But
I
also
Go
getting
ahead.
a chance to now with kind of where I got up to, getting to see a hero, using tech for the firefighting. It's like, okay, so this is kind of more incorporated into the world.
Mhm.
It seems in a way. Okay, I'm here for this so far. This was a concept I liked. I wanted to see a hero saving the day, doing like the firefighting stuff, like the basic necessities of the world.
Mhm.
But that's about as far as I've gotten. I haven't got a chance to really get into it too much. I wound up passing out for a while today.
Okay.
Jesse?
Yeah.
I have happy news just for a second.
I don't know if it's happy news or
ISOM,
not.
no, this is really happy news, and I will tell you why. This means there's so much demand for the comic outside of people that have the money to pay it, that there's enough interest for a piracy page to actually get the comic. ISOM, it's online. You can read it online. I won't tell you how or anything, but this is actually good news. This means that ISOM is becoming that much popular, and there's a lot of people interested on reading it, to the point that it's commercially interesting to pirate it. That means a lot. That is a great compliment for ISOM. He is on the level, and I will say it might get to be a bigger level than DC and Marvel at this point. Yeah, there you go. ISOM, that's a win. That's an absolute win.
No, it is in that regard. Common. Why don't you tell us your thoughts, and not only with your thoughts, but where do you feel like the story has improved the greatest?
So I think the story overall, all around, was a much bigger improvement over the first one.
Okay.
I think the first one was a great kind of setup for kind of the world, and I think it was a great kind of little introduction to Avery without giving away too much. Kind of a teaser almost, but still gives you like the beginning of the plot, gives you the beginning of the story, because this is supposed to be a 3-part arc, right? That's what this is supposed to be. The next one's supposed to be the conclusion to the final arc, and I really, this one gave me so much of what I've been looking for in a comic for a long time. And I don't want to spoil anything for Ironcaster, but some of the things that I've always wanted to talk about, some of the, like the bringing up Constantine and talking about that kind of aspects of the universe and stuff like that, really, really get fleshed out well, I think, in this book. And I absolutely loved it. The action scenes are, I think, a lot better in this one. I think they're a lot more fleshed out. There's a lot more aspect. We've got a lot more of the accepts, or maybe they're not accepts. Maybe there's something else kind of folks. There's even a slight phrase in the book that gives us a hint as to what they might even call themselves versus what everybody else calls them. I love the fact that like right away from the beginning, we get like straight up like demons from hell. Is essentially what they look like, and they disappear in a ball of fire, which, holy cow, that was freaking cool. I was like,
Yeah.
Here we go. We're getting into Hellspawn. We're getting to demons. We're getting to magic. We're getting to witches. This is going to be great. I'm like, this is what I'm here for. And so I was really glad I bought all 3 copies, or all 3 covers. Obviously cover D will be available forever. But they all look really nice. They all look really good. I think this was a marked improvement over the first book, and it makes it to where I'm super excited for the next one. I think the art style is I think is improved as well. I think I like the art style a little bit better in this one. I think it's a little more in detail than the first one was. I think it's a little more there's just more nuance to all of it. There's more detail to all of it. But yeah, I all around, I loved it all. I thought it was great seeing all the different things. There was a scene where one of the characters gets struck by another guy, and I'm just like, oh homie, you gonna die. Like, this is gonna be really, really bad for you because of who you just decided it was okay to smack. And he gets his just desserts within like 5 seconds, but then you're like, oh no, it's gonna get even worse later. And then you find out, it's gonna get so much worse later. And like I think the pacing was a lot better in this book. I think there was a lot more that went on, but it didn't feel rushed, right? You get a lot of story in this
and
one. You
with
get a
more
lot of back history. Right. And with more pages. I love the whole aspect of, and this is something that was teased at the very end of the last book was, look, you do this. I fix this suit for you. I give you this back. There is no turning back. There is no taking this off ever again. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain like, and I love the way he, like, when like Ironcaster, I know, got to the backstory of what happened to Isom and why he quit. And I love the very good point that the guy makes in there, because it's almost like his Spider-Man moment where, with great power comes great responsibility, that kind of thing situation. It's almost that exact same moment, because the guy that's making the costume reminds him, he goes, yeah, but yes, you lost one. But if you wouldn't have been there, we would have been sending 2 of those notifications to 2 different families. Instead, we only sent it to 1. And think about how many people have gotten hurt, have gotten injured because you decided to hang up your suit because you lost just 1. And it's just like, that's heavy. Like, you're like, damn. And that's something you didn't get, that kind of philosophy, I guess, in the first one that you did in this one.
No, you did. It really amplifies in this issue the philosophy and the deeper meaning of things. It really does in this issue. It really it shows the improvement on Eric's end, that he can make a payoff happen. He doesn't just set things up and has no payoff. This was a payoff right off the bat, and it was absolutely worth the extra 10 to 11 months to get to. It was absolutely worth it.
100%. And the one other thing that I really noted that I got a kick out of was in Eric's quasi fractured non real world version of history, the EMS, the police, the firefighting, and the paramedics are all a private service that you can get for a subscription fee.
Right.
I'm like, that's Eric's little anarcho-capitalist aspect of things, slipping right in, going, see, this is how we do it. You want to know how we build your roads? This is how we build your roads. That's how. So yeah, I got to get that. Yeah, my roads.
No roads.
Guys, next month, Alpha Core is going to be up for a campaign. Next month. Remember that time, especially Caster, and maybe Commodore may have heard this a few times, but definitely Caster. Remember the time where, like, one of the biggest weaknesses of this movement is the frequency? We're getting it a year later.
That's
guys. We might have to do a panel on Alpha Core. I'm just saying, on Alpha Core number 1.
Eric was on with us on the midweek hump a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw.
And one of the things that it was he either mentioned it on there or he mentioned on Tuesday night's event. He might have mentioned it on both. But one of the things I know he brought up was his goal is to get to a point where there is a book coming out of the Rippaverse every single month.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool. That gets a Ric Flair woo.
I thought you guys would like that.
One book a month, I'd be down with that. I see. I was good 3, one every 3 or 4 months. But if we get one a month and the quality maintains.
Well, you think about it too. He's got so many different teams working for him now, right? Yep. You've got Chuck Dixon and that other artist working on Alpha Core. You've got the sisters working on Yaira. Him and his crew are going to be working on ISOM, right? I'm sure he's got other crews coming in to work. I mean, you've got those other like Norse god, kind of African god inspired guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You've still got those guys in the background. You've got the magician and his, well, the chick that can kind of see things, the pair that are not like lovers, but they kind of act like brother and sister, but they both have weird powers. Like we haven't heard anything about them yet. There's a whole nother backstory with that. So I mean, you think about it, we could literally have like literally 12 different ongoing stories, or even if we're getting 2 ISOMs a year or 2 Yairas a year or whatever it is, you could be getting, you could have 6 stories going on all the time. And yeah, dude, you talk about keeping people satisfied. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you imagine if it becomes so lucrative that we can have 1 issue each month and a Reapaverse annual each year? Just having a really cool mega comic for the year. That will be
Like
killer.
a big
That's
crossover with
amazing.
yeah. Hey, guess what else I got in my box today? I got my Yaira t-shirt. Because when they had, that was the other thing I forgot to show off, because I got I did an unboxing of this. I did an unboxing of this video. Right? I got the long box because this is why I waited. Was for this long box. So I did an unboxing video that's going to premiere tomorrow. So if you want to see the long box in its entirety, plus all 3 variant covers, come subscribe to my channel and keep an eye out for that video, because that's going to be releasing tomorrow. That's going to premiere tomorrow. So I'll be hanging out in the chat for that one. And I have a full little clip of the box all put together and in 360 that will be in that video as well. So yeah, super stoked about that. I have my first short box, and I've officially got all my independent comics in it, and I'm excited.
Fucking awesome. All right, dudes. Well, you know what? This is gonna be the part where we call it a night. We'll be back here obviously next Friday. We'll get some dominoes set up for some monster stuff we want to talk about for the month of October, maybe throughout the rest of the year. Maybe set up what we want to do for Christmas episode, so on and so forth. Maybe guests we'd like to have. So we will get stuff set up next week. Next week will be a meeting that you all get to witness live. We did this last year. We did this last year, and it was great. It was great. So we're gonna do it again this year. Except next week is the one where we do that. So once again, shout out to Eric Weathers for joining us. Fucking awesome having him on for almost 2 hours of his time. Go back, Battle Brick Road 2 at battlebrickroad.com. He will also be, once again, Letter of ISOM, Cyberfrog, lots of the CG, Indiegogo, Iron Age movement books at the moment. So go check out his stuff. He's got his socials, YouTube, Twitter, etc. Eric Weathers. Chat, thank you for being here. We obviously, Jace and Pole Baby, thank you for becoming members. Mike has bad knees. Thank you for your super chat. To the chat, thank you for all your comments, your questions. I appreciate your time, your energy, your passion, and your enthusiasm. And Vulcan Lives, no book for next week, but we're going to discuss books to talk about for the remainder of the year, my friend. All right, we're gonna talk about that next week. Like I said, I'm sure we're definitely we're gonna cover some monster stuff for the month of October. We will discuss that next week. We'll have our live meeting, and the chat is welcome to have some input. If there's enough demand for it, we'll talk about it. So be here next Friday night for that meeting, the live meeting. It's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be fun. Before Caster goes, for my Dolph Lundgren members, because there's a few of them still here, my Dolph Lundgren members, this is for you. The stickers just went to the printer today. Stickers went to the printer today, and in about another 3 weeks, the bottle openers will go to the printer as well. And once those get in, I got the letter set for my Dolph Lundgren members. Each of you will, obviously, along with those 3 things, get one personalized item each. That is your exclusive item. It's not like a Nick Wise where it's just a little general something. It could be like a killer movie. It could be a killer trade paperback of something brand new yet to be, read. All I'm trying to get is that I'm setting you up because you Dolph Lundgren members, you're huge to me in more ways than one. And Vulcan Lives, I see you mentioned the Gilded Invite. I will shoot you a personal link to it on Twitter. Okay. In fact, I'll even send it to you right now so you can join the Gilded feed right now. We have a great time on here. Caster and Common are part of it, along with some of the other guys. It is an awesome ass time on Gilded. It is.
Nick, did
we
you
have
end up
such
making
a
it?
blast.
Did you end up making it members only? Did you end up making it members only?
Members only. For those
Okay,
who are
so
here, then
you can post.
you're good. But for future, you got back to Dolph Lundgren tier.
You can post it on your community tab as a members only post
Yes.
at the Dolph Lundgren level, so that way everybody's got it. So yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. I found you, Vulcan. I'm just gonna shoot it to you right now, dude.
My
Okay.
boy.
I got you, man. All right. And it is sent on Twitter, my friend. All right. Remember that is a very private link. So go join there. But once again, chat, thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your enthusiasm and energy. And to whomever it was that backed Battlebrick Road 2 while we were live. We don't know who that was. But thank you, whoever did that. Thank you for supporting Eric Weathers. We will see you next week for the live meeting show to set up the remainder of 2023. On my end, Caster and I are going to review Conan the Barbarian #3. Toxic Tuesday next week will be Hard Times with Charles Bronson. And of course, you can find me on Comics Division's show Monday and Thursday night and Midnight's Edge Tuesday and Thursday night. Those are what's coming up on my channel. I'm going to let these gentlemen plug their channels. So we'll start off with Mr. Pablo himself.
Hey, tomorrow Midnight Edge Español. I don't know what we are talking about because, to be honest, everything that is around on the news is Disney is a bunch of crap, and we already know that. There's not much fun there. There's even if the horse keep asking for the beating, at one point it stops being funny. So yeah, maybe we will talk about Pokemon because the new DLC is out and is shit. And somehow it was worth it.
Wow.
I will explain myself tomorrow, but don't buy it. It's worth it for the wrong reason. I'm a really weird guy, especially when it comes to numerical formulas. So it was fun for me. For a kid, it will be shit. We will see what else we can talk about tomorrow, and we will have fun because it will be a relaxing stream. And message, wait for new videos coming. Andre is working in some scripts right now, so we'll have something, I guess, during the weekend. And that will be it. Today was a relaxing day, man. Thank you very much. And I want to see some of those covers. I know there was a lot more, and if I wasn't reading ISOM, I will be watching covers. So it's gonna be a really fun night.
Pablo, thanks for being here, sir. Thank you for your time, energy, and questions for Mr. Weathers. I can't wait to hang out with you next week where we get to really lay it out on the table what we would want to talk about for the remainder of the year. It's going to be a blast. And thank you for doing this with me for 113 episodes, sir. Have a great night, weekend. And guys, go sub to Pablo's personal channel and Midnight's Edge Espanol. Thank you, Commenter, for plugging in the channels. Appreciate that. And go listen to Pablo rant out tomorrow morning or afternoon, sir. And now it is time for the Common Nerd, who's got a boxing, not unboxing, but a boxing video.
Yeah, that too. A boxing video too.
Hard your head.
Yeah, I got an unboxing video coming out tomorrow for the Rippaverse stuff. I'm gonna play some Armored Core here in just a little bit. I'm gonna go grab a snack real quick, and I'll be right back. I dropped the link in the chat if you guys want to come over and watch me die a whole bunch in an Armored Core. I'm stuck up against the boss right now. One of my subscribers gave me the game, gifted me the game, so we're playing the hell out of it right now. And I've missed mech games; they've been really good. Got to read ISOM earlier this evening. Was excellent. Was really good. So keep an eye out for that unboxing video. I dropped 4 videos today. I'm sure there's something over there that you're going to be interested in. So go check those out as well. If you don't want to come join us hanging out, playing some video games tonight. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, Vets Talk, Skinamax Saturday will be hosted on my channel. At 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Adam is out of town this weekend going to see a Green Bay Packers game. So we're going to have all of that craziness.
He's a Wisconsin guy?
Well, I don't know if he actually is or not. I'm assuming so, but he is a Green Bay Packers fan. So yeah, that's what I know for sure. But yeah, so he's going to be up there. So we're hosting Vet Talks tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on my channel. The link is already up for that as well. So if you go over to my channel, you can hit that live and hit the notification bell so you don't miss that. Just crossed 4,060 subscribers this morning. Woo! If you haven't already. Yeah.
Congrats, dude. Fucking
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you very much. Had a very successful week. Things have been going really well. So praise the Lord and thanks to all my subscribers and members for that, because holy cow, they've been really generous lately. So yeah, come check me out if you haven't already. Can't wait for next week, because I've already got the only thing I want out of Halloween and October scary time. I've already got it already picked out, and I'm going to argue for it until I turn blue in the face, and hopefully I'll get what I want. So I can't wait for next Friday. So yeah, well, shout out to the chat. Love you guys all. We'll see y'all next time.
Common, thank you for being here, sir. Thank you for your amazing passion and energy. You have a great night and weekend. And as always, we will be in touch soon, as always. And then the man who made the thumbnail happen, the man who makes a lot of things happen on the Comic Shop Talk, the Ironcaster.
Well, Jesse, I didn't realize you were such a passionate fan for candy corn. You already got it?
What?
You son of a bitch. I'm
so confused.
Well, you said you something for October you already wanted?
Oh,
yes. No, for next week to argue about. That's something
never been more excited.
He's the candy corn crusader, folks.
Nah, man, I'm already eating the Reese's peanut shaped pumpkin eggs. So yeah, no, we're good.
Between candy corn.
Sure. I don't mind candy corn. Like, candy corn doesn't gross me out like it does a lot of people. Like, I can eat it. I don't like. I'm not going to go out of my way to eat it. But
see,
they got some pretty yummy flavors.
I've tried to eat it, and none of the flavors wow me. And I want to be wowed by it. I want to.
Yeah, they're not wowing. It's that waxy texture.
It saddens me. But Casser, plug your plugs.
So I don't think I'll be any shows this weekend. I'm gonna be going out of town to up in Saginaw, Michigan, to Big Geek Con, where got my dice. I'm ready to go. Hang out with some guys up there. So if anyone's out there in the area, go check out the Big Geek Con this weekend. As for streams coming up, Tuesday, I will be on with Pops and Stone Moki for Talk Hard, where we will be discussing a little movie from the man, the myth, the legend, Rowdy Roddy Piper, in a little-known movie called Hell Comes to Frogtown.
All right. Killer dude.
In which Rowdy Roddy Piper is in a nuclear post-apocalyptic wasteland where he has to fuck his way across and repopulate humanity.
Wow. Piper's a productive one, ain't he?
By the way, if you have not seen this movie, absolutely go out of your way to go check it out. It is insane. There is a chainsaw battle.
Okay. Well, you got my attention with it.
Latex work with like a big giant frog mask.
Wait, chainsaws like swords?
Yes. Like,
okay, I mean,
someone like they fight with chainsaws, like swords.
Ooh.
So it's Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, Kester, thank you for your time and your passion, your energy. You have a great night and weekend. Next week is going to be huge. And I will see you then, sir. All right. Thank you for everything that you do for the Comic Shop Talk. One more thing before we get out, and this is on my end. Guys, we're going to do member streams for anyone who's in the huge level or above. If you're in the huge level, we're going to do them once a month. And it's going to crisscross between Thursday and Monday mornings. And it will not interfere with Vince Womack on Gilded, because I have to mention that. It'll probably be right after Culture 6 Minute Daily. And then Monday morning will be before Midnight's Edge in the morning. So those will be the ministries that will crisscross between the two every month. So if you're around on Monday morning or Thursday morning, we got you covered on those mornings. Hopefully I'll get to a point in my life where I can open up for once a month, whether it's on a nighttime. We'll see where we go down the line with that. But until then, guys, we'll have a member stream this coming Thursday. And it'll be that one for the month of September. But until then, guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for hanging out here. We'll see you all soon next week on the Comic Shop Talk, episode 114. Until then, there's no outro. So this is simply just saying good night, go to another stream, go party, get drunker than drunk, be deep down, stronger than all. Good night.